Hey, this is Ordo Militaris coming to you live about 8:30 in the morning. Here is the Chronicles of the First Crusade. I want to tell you the story of Peter the monk who helped start the Crusades. Peter, a priest from Amiens in the western Frankish kingdom, who had one time been a hermit, began his call for the expedition in Bari, a part of the kingdom, pleading with all his eloquence and using every sermon address to preach it. His instant advocacy won over bishops, abbots, priests, and monks, laymen of the highest rank, princes of the kingdom, all the people, the celibate, the unchaste, adulterers, murderers, thieves, perjurers, bandits. In short, all men of Christian faith were brought to repentance and joyfully assembled for the march. What follows will explain the reason and purpose of Peter's preaching, which made him the chief instigator of the crusade. Some years before the expedition set out, Peter had gone on pilgrimage to Jerusalem, and there in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre had looked with horror on evil and forbidden practices. Grief-stricken and groaning in spirit, he prayed to God to avenge the wrongs he saw. He went to the Patriarch of Jerusalem and asked how he could let infidels and godless men desecrate the holy places, plunder the offerings of the faithful, and make the church a house of ill fame. How he could see Christians assaulted, holy pilgrims suffering unjust exhortations, and subjected at every turn to persecution. The venerable patriarch and priest of the Holy Sepulchre replied, "Most faithful of Christians, how can you thus upbraid and trouble a patriarch whose power and authority are like a tiny ants before the overweening might of such enemies? My life is ransomed only by the constant payments, without which I face torture and death. I fear the threats will grow daily unless Christendom sends help. You must be my envoy to summon it." Peter answered, "Holy Father, I have understood. I see how weak is the band of Christians living with you here, and what hardships you suffer at the hands of the heathen. So for God's love and to restore the honor of the saints, I shall go home, with God beside me for my safety, and I shall seek out first the Pope, then all Christian primates, the kings, the dukes, the counts, the rulers of the lands, and I shall tell them of all your wretched servitude, and your unendurable hardships. The news of what is happening will soon be known to all." Meanwhile, darkness covered the earth and sky, and Peter went back to the Holy Sepulchre to pray. There, wearied with watching and supplication, he fell asleep. As he slept, the Lord Jesus appeared before him in majesty and addressed him, a weak mortal, in these words, "Peter, most beloved Christian's son, arise, go to the Patriarch, take from him a letter of appointment sealed with the sign of the cross, and return with all speed to the land of your kinsmen. There make known the persecution and suffering of my people, and the wrongs done to the Holy Land. Rouse the hearts of the faithful, to cleanse the holy places of Jerusalem, and restore the service of the saints. Despite all perils and temptations, those who are called and chosen will find the gates of heaven open to them." At this wondrous revelation of the power of God, when the vision ended, Peter awoke, and in the first glimmerings of dawn, he left the church. Going to the Patriarch, he told him that he had seen God, and requested a letter sealed with the cross appointing him as his holy representative. This the patriarch gave gratefully. And by his leave, Peter undertook the mission and started on his journey home. After a difficult crossing, he landed at Bari and left at once for Rome. There he went to the Pope and told him of the charge laid upon him by God and the patriarch to report the abomination of the heathen and the persecution of the saints and pilgrims. The Pope listened readily and intently, and promised in every particular to heed the bidding and prayers of the saints. Excuse me a bit. Now this was from the Chronicles of the First Crusade. Sounds a lot like the bishops of Iraq and Syria asking for deliverance from the West. And they're still asking, still pleading. Even the Christians, the laity there, who still remain, who still are not weakening in their faith and remaining there. They say, this is our home, we ain't leaving, and we want security and peace. So, I ask you, all my listeners, followers, watchers, the time is now. The same call that went out by Peter the Hermit, the blessed Pope Urban II, must be renewed, reheard, and be recommitted for the defense of the Christians in Iraq, Syria, and elsewhere where they are being persecuted, killed, slaughtered, butchered. I ask you today to join up with the Ordo Militaris Catholicus. You can become a lay member, help found chapters. This way you can help spread the order. Also, if you want to volunteer your services, if you're a military veteran, go to the sign up page on Ordo Militaris. Right now we can't pay you, but if you're willing to work for free and offer your services for free and help gather your fellow brothers in arms who are military veterans, they love that very much. Now for those young men who are U.S. national citizens, on section 5 on the sign up page is for you, where you can enlist in our training program. Go to the BCT program page, download the BCT form, print it out, fill it out completely, mail it back into our office or our secretarial services, which will get it to us. Make sure you put in the cover charge as well. How do you guys join up with Ordo Militaris? Go to ordo-militaris.us. That's it. Time is now. Join up with Ordo Militaris. Let's reissue and reheed the call of Blessed Pope Urban II, and that of Peter the Hermit. It is full.